The funniest Hoosier in Indiana history turns 75 tonight. We are celebrating former WTHR weatherman David Letterman. It is great to have you here at 10 o'clock on whatever digital platform you may be watching. Let us know where you are watching tonight. We'll give you a shout out over the next 15 minutes. Felicia, tonight it's all about getting our viewers ready to go for the possible severe weather tomorrow.
Absolutely. I know sometimes you hear us saying these things all the time, and Angela can speak to this. However, it is necessary that you take this seriously. Right. You know, you rather be safe and prepared than not.
Right. And I say be prepared, be safe. Let's worry about it now, and then keep your fingers crossed we get clouds tomorrow, and that keeps the severe threat to a minimum locally. It's not the case out to our west. They are dealing with tornadoes right now across parts of Iowa. So we're going to start with a big view of the radar. If you were with us early this evening and we kept looking west, there was nothing out there, but it was just a matter of time before this line of storms really blew up and intensified, and that has been the case. I've been watching radar most of the evening, and it's been interesting. If you haven't paid attention, or maybe we haven't explained it well enough, the National Weather Service made some changes to the severe thunderstorm warning criteria last summer, and they have added a couple of categories. The base severe thunderstorm warning was always issued when we were expecting winds at 58 miles per hour or stronger, and the inch hail or larger. Well, now they've kind of made some changes, and they can issue a destructive severe thunderstorm warning, and that's when we're expecting winds 80 miles per hour or more, or 2 3/4 inch hail, which is the size of softballs.
Wow.
So if you would hear us, you know, not only in the coming days, but in the coming years, talk about a destructive thunderstorm warning, that's what that means. A considerable thunderstorm warning is issued for winds at 70 miles per hour and golf ball size hail. So those are the changes that the National Weather Service made last summer. Also want to bring this up because I noticed one of these in Iowa this evening. It was a confirmed tornado warning, and that shows up as purple. So I've kind of highlighted it here. So typically our tornado warnings will show up blinking red. Our severe thunderstorm warnings will show up blinking orange. This confirmed tornado warning will show up blinking purple. And that means there's confirmation that we have a tornado. Typically, before that, a tornado warning was issued if we got information from a spotter, or it could be issued if it was simply radar indicated. So that's the difference between a regular tornado that might be radar indicated and a confirmed tornado warning. A tornado emergency, we don't get these very often locally, but you will see these in southern states and really out across parts of Tornado Alley. A tornado emergency is issued when we have a significant tornado moving into a populated area. And a lot of times we just get confused. What's the difference between a watch and a warning? A watch means just that, you're going to watch. A warning means you take action. And again, as I mentioned, the National Weather Service made a few changes to those severe thunderstorm warnings. It's been pretty quiet, so when is this storm actually getting here? Well, we're thinking the latest analysis has us in and out of some rain and storms as early as, say, 6, 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. If this slows down and we actually still have rain and a couple of storms through midday, this would be good, because the more rain we get early in the day, the less sun we're going to get later in the day. And it's the sun that would destabilize the atmosphere and get a couple of thunderstorms going, what we call supercells or discrete cells, individual storms that have the better chance to turn tornadic. Still that potential, we think, during the afternoon hours. We're just kind of wait and see. Do we get the sunshine? Do we get enough instability ahead of the main line of rain and storms? So I know this is kind of confusing. We've got rain and storms in the morning, might get a couple in the afternoon, but really the main event comes into play tomorrow evening. This is 7 o'clock. We'll stop it at 9 p.m. and stop it at 11 p.m. This is the front itself. And even if we don't get a couple of individual storms developing during the day, we anticipate severe thunderstorm warnings with this line because there's so much wind energy with it that we may end up with 75-mile-per-hour winds that may or may not be associated with a tornado.
Okay.
That can do just as much damage or more.
Yeah, straight line wind.
Straight line winds. So I know it's kind of a lot to take in. What you need to know, a couple waves of rain and storms possible tomorrow with the potential for severe weather, and we're going to be right here to kind of guide you through it.
Okay, Angela, on the case. This is a good time to, of course, tune in. Good time to download our weather app. Stay close to our website, WTHR.com, and then, of course, the app in your phone's app store. It is free.
Friend of the show, Lauren Kostick, now in studio tonight here in the Weather Center. And Lauren, you're working on things that our viewers can do before, during, and after the storm to get everybody ready.
Yeah, so there's things you could do right now. And one of those, I know it's kind of dark out, so this might be something if you are willing to get up early, but check those limbs outside your house. If there's anything that could fall. I know we just moved into our house, and my boyfriend's like, oh, we should do that. I was like, yeah, we should. And then on top of that, if you have anything outside, we put some patio furniture out the other weekend. We put that in the garage. Any lightweight things, bird feeders, anything that could blow away and cause damage. So that's what you could do now. And on top of that, have an emergency kit going. I put one together when I was home, you know, flashlight, batteries, blanket, food, water. You also might want to put a portable charger in there in case, you know, your electricity go out. Make sure your phone is charged tonight.
That's good.
Make sure your notifications are on. Those are important. And then also have a plan. Go over that plan tonight before you go to bed with anyone who lives in your house, your family, your kids. And so in case something does happen, you know where to go. And that would be your basement or somewhere without windows, a bathroom or a closet. So I know that's something that we talk about a lot. And also have that weather radio. I got one last year. I made sure I bought one after I think you kept mentioning or Sean did or something. And it's so helpful to have because I know when you're sleeping or if something happens overnight. And download the app. So during the storm, that's so important to have because that's how you're going to be informed. That's how you're going to know what's going on. And then afterwards, you get outside. That's when you can check the damage. And you know, I spoke with AES today, and they were saying don't go near any power lines. Just stay back. Let the professionals handle it. Be patient. And if there is debris in the street or damage, you can call your local public works, and they will come out. And you just have to be patient. So, like you guys have been saying, it's just all about safety. Yeah.
And preparing, you know, because if you prepare, then keep your fingers crossed we actually don't get any severe weather, but at least we were ready.
Yeah, and you reminded me about the patio furniture. I hadn't even thought about that.
So. Oh, I learned my lesson a long time ago. I think it was on my
price, didn't you?
Yeah, it was on my patio when I was at the Riley Towers. And I came back and I was like, ooh, that's not good.
It was on there till it wasn't.
Yeah, it was not. All the pots were knocked down. So lesson learned.
I think we talk a lot about making sure that we don't rely on the tornado sirens because when we're inside, may not hear those, right?
Yes, and a tornado siren is only for outdoor use. Even though you might be close enough to one, live close enough to one that you actually hear it when you're in your home, they are strictly for outdoor use. So the app is great. Weather radio is great, and once you get home tomorrow, flip us on. Just flip the TV on, keep us on, and that way you'll know if we break into programming, which I know you don't like it when we do that. But if we have to, then at least you'll know what's coming your way.
Yeah. Absolutely, but it could be life-saving information. I know, and let me give just a news perspective. When I worked in Southwest Missouri, a lot of people, I got there soon after the Joplin tornado, and that was one of our most deadly storms in our country's history. And a lot of people didn't necessarily, you know, things would happen. They didn't necessarily take it as seriously until that happened. And so you don't want to be in that perspective, like she said, make it at least a conversation in your home to be prepared. We're not trying to scare anyone, but to be safe and smart.
Yeah, and if you have children, you know, you could throw in a couple of old bike helmets in that safety kit, some coloring books, something to keep them occupied so they're not, you know, worried about the weather.
We also want to make sure that you've got our weather app on the phone, and can you talk a little bit about some of the features that it has?
Yes, so I don't have my phone on me, but if you go to our weather app, and you should be able to, I think it's in the top right corner, you want to click the alerts. He's fast.
It's got it programmed.
So yeah, you want to make sure, so that's the news app, and if you go to weather, and then you should be able to.
Let's see who's service.
Who's better.
We got the radar.
Yes, you got the radar.
Weather radio.
Yes, and on our app you can set up locations. Like I have a student at Trine, I have a student at Purdue, so they're in my locations. So whenever a weather alert is issued for them, then I also get that on my phone. So if you have students or you have children in other places of the country or different parts of the state or whatever, and you'd like to know what kind of weather they're dealing with, it's very easy. So on the weather app, it's kind of a location button, and you set your locations, and then you can pick what alerts or sign up for all the alerts to come in on your phone.
That's perfect.
Good to know.
And it can detect lightning, which is great too.
Yeah, that's really important.
I had an alert was it yesterday morning, I think, or morning before, that there was lightning within 5 miles of Trine.
Yeah.
So I knew she had a storm early in the day.
And when thunder roars,
Go indoors.
you go indoors.
Yes.
Don't-
We learned that at a young age.
Yeah, don't drive through high water. These are a lot of the things we talk about a lot, but it's worth remembering, you know, on a night before a storm.
It is. And
Yep.
then, like I said, keep good thoughts that we have lots of clouds, and that morning round of rain and storms just kind of sits over us, because the longer it lasts, the better chance we have of escaping a severe weather event locally.
Yeah.
Okay, as always, we are wishing the weather.
Keep the clouds.
Yes, good luck.
Right.
One day we're not wishing for sun.
Yes, we're right.
We have hundreds of people joining us tonight. Sheila with us. John wants to know, what are the chances of tornadoes in Indianapolis?
If we would get into sunshine, a tornado could happen anywhere across the state. Now, I jumped on the National Weather Service severe weather call earlier this afternoon, and they made a good point. We show you the threat levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. They said don't necessarily focus on if your community is in a 3 and not a 4, or a 2 and not a 4. Don't focus on the number, because if we would get sunshine anywhere,
Right.
it's going to be enough to destabilize the atmosphere, and we have enough wind shear in place, which wind shear is basically as you go up in the atmosphere, winds changing direction and or increasing as you go up in that column of air. And that wind shear is the support you need to get a thunderstorm to turn tornadic. And we've got lots of that in play tomorrow, so it wouldn't take much. Little bit of sunshine destabilizes the atmosphere. We get a couple of storms going. The potential there is great.
Right.
For a tornado to happen.
And tornadoes develop so rapidly, and as fabulous as Angela is,
I'm not that good.
The science only allows you to go so far. So, I mean, with things rapidly changing, which is, again, another shameless plug of the weather app, why you need that.
You bet.
Ronald and Barbara and Teresa and Dot. Dot's in Bloomington tonight. Carla is here with us. Laura is with us. Glenn, Yvonne. We've got lots of Facebook friends tonight and on different digital platforms. Great to have you here at 10 o'clock. We'll get one last look at the weather in a moment, but we do want to celebrate David Letterman's 75th birthday, obviously with, you know, the tremendous success in late night, both on CBS and on NBC. And he started his career here in the early 70s at Channel 13. He was a weatherman and he hosted a show. And so tonight on his 75th birthday, wanted to play a short clip for you as we celebrate Indiana's funniest man in history.
With your host, Dave Letterman. Boy, oh boy, America, have we got a show for you. In fact, I'm not surprised that they didn't save. Most of Missouri is under a flash flood watch. The same holds true for Iowa, and flooding all over. In fact, portions of Indiana at one time yesterday were under a flash flood warning. But all of that seems of little importance once you take a look at the cloud cover photograph made earlier of the United States today. And I think you'll see that once again we've fallen to the prey of political dirty dealings. And right now you can see what I'm talking about. The higher-ups have removed the border between Indiana and Ohio, making it one giant step. With your host, Dave Letterman. Boy, oh boy, America, have we got a show for you. In fact, I'm not surprised that they didn't save. Most of Missouri is under a flash flood watch. The same holds true for Iowa, and flooding all over.
Yeah,
In
it's
fact,
so much fun to watch David Letterman back at
yesterday
Channel 13 back in the early 70s. Obviously, grew up in Broad Ripple, went to Ball State, started his career here at Channel 13, and obviously the huge honors and the years that he spent at both CBS and NBC. So happy birthday, David Letterman. He's a two-time Indy 500 winner as an owner. So many, what a great career, and so we wanted to wish him happy birthday tonight.
And look at all that hair.
Yeah.
And weather has certainly changed since the early 70s, Angela, hasn't it?
I know, right? What would I?
We just talked about the science behind it.
I saw watch. I saw the warning there. I was like, I know what that is.
Yeah, he did all right. We're going to need to remember those terms ourselves tomorrow. A couple waves of rain and storms. Future Track 13 will show the first one arriving around sunrise, so grab the umbrella for the early part of tomorrow and just be ready to stay weather aware. what we're hoping is this wave lasts long enough that it stabilizes central Indiana just enough that that tornado threat doesn't materialize. But there's still that potential. And again, even if we don't get individual storms tomorrow afternoon, early evening, we will have a line of rain and damaging wind threat. This line may produce 75-mile-per-hour winds or more that may or may not be tornadic, but can do just as much damage. So just stick with us tomorrow.
And be sure to join us tonight at 11 o'clock. We'll be keeping you safe, getting you weather aware, and Angela will be looking at the forecast and giving you a lot more tonight on 11 o'clock for friend of the show, Lauren Costa, and Felicia and Angela. I'm Scott. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you over on Channel 13 in about 45 minutes.